All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is James Davis, and you're here with another session, the second session of on Brothers for a Better Benton Harbor, and our group is Plain Men with a Purpose. And what we're doing is we're again, I'll let you guys know that we're trying to reach out to our fellow black brothers in the city and wherever to just unite and to give the knowledge and wisdom that we need to be good and righteous, to do better than what we're doing. It may seem far-fetched, but it's not. We are able to do it. And I'm here with one of our elders, and he's going to be bringing the topic today. And with the second session, is still true to yourself. And so we'll be digging into that a little bit more, giving you more of a well-rounded view of what that looks like, what that would be, what that means to a clear-minded person. Okay, and at this time, I'll let him talk. This is Elder Ricky Hill.
Good evening, everyone. Some of y'all may know me from my show that I have on every Friday, Mindsets, on the great station, Power 105.3. That's my wife phone. But anyway, sorry about that, folks. And those who don't know me, well, you know me now. I've always been involved in the city of Ben Harbor in a lot of adventures, which I won't go over, but people know me, they know. Well, I will tell you, I was a city commissioner, coached little boys for 20 years, raised my children here, was on the housing commission. So I've been involved. Involved in politics and been involved in a lot of other social activities here in the city of Ben Harbor. But let's talk about this topic, true to self. I like to always read, like I do on the radio, from the Wisdom of the Elders. This book is by Robert Fleming, and I will be reading what Muhammad Ali, the boxer, to me the greatest boxer in boxing history, because of what I'm getting ready to read about him and state about him. This is what made him, in my mind, the greatest boxer in history, because he knew how to deal inside and outside the boxing ring. This Muhammad Ali said this in 1968. It's about integrity. So remember, our topic is true to self, and then we'll get into that. He said, I could make millions if I led my people the wrong way. Some things I know is wrong, so now I have to make a decision. Step into $1 billion and denounce my people, or step into poverty and teach them the truth. Damn the money. Yeah, that's what he said. Damn the money. Damn the heavyweight championship. I would die before I sell out my people for the white man's money. The wealth of America and the friendship of all the people who support the war would be nothing if I'm not content internally, and if I'm not in accord with the will of Almighty God, which he said Allah, because Muhammad Ali was a Muslim just like me. Reflections. African Americans will always remember boxer Muhammad Ali for his legendary performances inside the ring. But it was outside the ring that Ali truly commanded our attention when he defied the U.S. government and took a stand against the war in Vietnam. Even when he was offered a fortune, he steadfastly refused to compromise his religious beliefs. At the recent Olympics, the champion fighter, once ridiculed for his fearless anti-war stand, was given a standing ovation by everyone in attendance in recognition of his courage in the face of overwhelming opposition. Integrity is one of the highest virtues of mankind, of humankind. Let me read that one more time. Integrity is one of the highest virtues of humankind. When we have a solid sense of self when we know where we stand in the world, it is impossible to sway us with temptation. Integrity is the foundation of character. Integrity is the foundation of character. If we relinquish it, we lose an important part of ourselves. We are permanently weakened when we hold fast to our values and standards. We are no longer vulnerable to the lurches of others and their compromising views. Integrity gives us control over our lives. Integrity is power. I will never sell out my beliefs and principles. I know the character and integrity are the cornerstone of an honorable life. Now, look, people, especially us who say we believe in God, do we actually think? Well, first let me say this. The wisdom of an elderly man told me this. He says 3 things you carry to the graveyard. And you know, all of us going to the graveyard. There's 7.8 billion of us, all of us, going to the graveyard. There's no human being that's going to live forever. Now, we don't know when, where, or how, but we're going to the graveyard. Somebody went today, a lot of people. You know, babies, men, women, old people, and young people went to the graveyard today. But what the elderly told me is there are 3 things go to the graveyard with you. She said 2 of them come back. She said your family, your bank book or credit cards, or your government card, or your good or bad deeds. He said your good or bad deeds follow you. That is determined by your integrity in life, folks. Your good or bad deeds. What you do is determined by how you learned integrity. Integrity really is how true are you to self. Now, integrity is learned by your environment. No baby come here with integrity. Well, let me backtrack. Let me stop lying. The baby do come here with the original nature that God has put in all human beings. They don't know its integrity because no baby, you can't look at your baby and say you little sinner, you. Or you little liar. Or you little criminal. How you gonna hold your baby and say, you little criminal. You're a little criminal. You're a little racist. You're a little Klan member. No, all that's got to be formed in the environment that we're in by other adults. Distorted adult mentalities or truthful mentalities. One or the other. One or the other. You know, and there was a lying mentality that tells the truth. Sometimes it's still a corrupt mentality. That's the tree of good and evil. Yes, that's what that means. See, that it's a lying mentality and it's a corrupt mentality, a truthful mentality, and they're trying to balance both. No, that's corruption. Either you truthful all the way or you a lie all the way. You know, now, if you're a lie all the way, you know you're corrupt. And if you're truthful, you know you're truthful. Now, that don't mean you don't make mistakes. We need to get off of that, too. Most people don't understand that they are perfect human beings. Because a perfect human being make a mistake. That's what makes you a human being. That's how we learn. That's how we learn integrity. But our integrity comes from the environment that we're in. So parents, take heed of this. Understand the important role of the household. Women, understand your important role as the first teacher of our babies. Men, understand your role, the most important role of fatherhood to our babies. See, either you go teach them a lie or you go teach them a truth, which go and determines integrity. Their integrity, they true self-worth. The true self-worth is what God created us with. I paused to let that sink in. That's why I had to change. That's why I didn't want to lie to you. The baby comes in with the true self-worth. Like I tell you, no baby comes in as a liar. Matter of fact, if you leave them alone, they'd grow up with integrity. If you leave them alone. if you encourage them to be truthful. See, the distorted mindset and heart set of that environment they're in is what make them little devils, what make them liars, what make them criminals, what make them change their nature. You know, see, what make them dumb, what make them hate, what make them racist, you know, sexist, male and female, distortion of the mind, distortion of the knowledge. The key to true self-worth is the knowledge that we put in our head. My Imam, who is the son of Elijah Muhammad, who has since passed, because Elijah Muhammad has since passed, and my leader Imam Warthdeen Muhammad since passed, but he taught us well in his 33 plus years that he was on this earth. And his knowledge is still here in the form of books, tapes. You know, you can listen to him on YouTube, you know. But he taught us what integrity was. Integrity is the most excellent part of being a human being. The most truthful part, the most productive part, the most helpful part, the most useful part of being a human being. We've definitely got 5 areas of human development that's significant for us as human beings. The first area is social. That's family life. That's family life. See, that's why it's important on what we teach our children doing. Yeah, that was my wife. She was on. She don't know she was on the Facebook. Once again, social life, which is family life. The first existence of human life is in this home. And I pause for you to think about that, the importance of the home. The children learn how to develop integrity, moral consciousness, love, hate, like I say, racism and everything else, negative or positive, in our home. From mother, father, grandmother, or whoever's in that environment raising up the child. And also whatever we allowing to happen in the community. Because it's more than mother and father that teaches our child. Whenever they put on earbuds, whenever they listen to some music or a speech, whenever they watch TV, whenever they on the internet, on those various websites, they're being taught moral stuff and immoral stuff. See, because the human being, our free will that the Creator have given all 7 billion of us, allows us to either accept the truth or accept the lie. No other living creature has that power. Have that power. There's no mad dogs. Hollywood creates that. There's no mad, crazy insects. Hollywood creates that. You know, there's no talking doo-doo. Hollywood creates that. Yes, the Hollywood, or Hollywood as you call it. See, so all the artificial intelligence is created by human beings. See, and usually a lot of it does not promote integrity. You know, because integrity forms love for all humanity, for all life on the planet Earth. And they don't want that. They want division. See, so that's what they feed on those various medias, the TV. You know, they don't promote God. They promote the gun. Shoot somebody. Kill somebody. That's what it shows. You know, use your weapon. And that weapon is not the weapon of your tongue with truth, or your intellect with truth, or your emotions with truth. You know, it's a weapon to physically harm the body. See, so being true to yourself is what integrity is all about. Because if once you get integrity, you're in line with the Creator's creation. See, once again, there's no crazy lion, you know, or a greedy alligator. No. Once they eat, yeah, they predators, those two I mentioned, but once they eat, once they hunt and kill and eat, they satisfied. They not just go off and just, oh, let's kill another zebra just to kill it. You know, they kill for a reason, for survival. We, the human being, all 8.8 billion of us, is the only ones with that mindset to kill for the fun, to kill just to kill, to hate just to hate. Like I said, there's no hating giraffe. The giraffe don't hate the lion. They fear the lion because they know they can become lion prey. So God gave them mechanisms, long legs, and the ability to run, kick the teeth out of the lion to save their own hide, so to speak. You know, so our integrity, our true self-worth is formed by the environment that we're in. Now, I could drop the mic and just leave it like that. But I go on. I go on. Because it's just that simple. It's really just that simple because words make people. We form by the knowledge that we put into our intellect, into our brain, and into our heart, our emotions. That's our power source. As I say on the radio every Friday, our power source. Our power source is not in the money. The money has its place. It's not in our sex organs. Our sex organs has their place. It's not in how you look. Our looks have it at its place. The alphabet's behind our name, the degrees you got a place. But understand this. The Creator is not going to ask you how much money you had, how you looked, how much money you spent, how big or little was your sex organs. Creator is not going to ask you none of that. They're going to ask you about integrity. How did you treat your neighbor? How did you raise your family? How did you take care of your property? How did you help your community? You know, what was your relationship with the Creator? What was your relationship with the prophets? You know, things like of that nature. They ain't gonna ask you none of that mystical stuff that you may think. How many Bible quotes do you know? How many Quranic quotes do you know? Do you know the mystery of the mothership? God ain't gonna ask you none of that. God gonna ask you basic stuff. You gonna get judged by the basic stuff. Your integrity. Integrity is truth. Truth. It's the truth. And how you gauge the truth is in line with creation. When you look at the sun, you're looking at the truth. When you look at the moon, you're looking at the truth. When you're looking at the ants doing their thing, you're looking at the truth. When you're looking at the bird build a bird nest, you're looking at the truth. When you feel the air on your skin, you feel the truth. You smell the truth. When you smell the society, the environment after the rain, the truth, because it's the elements, it's the 4 elements that brings the truth. Physical elements: earth, wind, which is air, fire, and water. They're truthful. They cannot be made untruthful. You know, now we can distort them, but we still earth. We made from earth. You know, we can distort the air. We can fart and make it funky, but they ain't gonna dominate it. Truth is, it's going back to its original form. Water, we can pollute it, but eventually it's going back to its original form. It cleanses itself, because truth is the cleanser. You know, we can manipulate the earth. I was on a boat ride once and sailing down the Mississippi River, and the narrator pointed out that, you know, he showed us a place where they had the human being had taken down all the trees. You know, had cut down all the trees. You know, but in a few more years, them trees returned. Because integrity and true to self is what is on this earth and in the whole universe. And because God created it that way. The only thing I can tell you, that's where the Creator created truth. And truth is self-worth. The truth. You know, my truth got to be in line with the truth if I want the highest understanding and knowledge. See, if not, you know, and like I said, we don't know somebody can lie to ourselves, human beings. We can lie to ourselves, and that's the worst thing that we could do to ourselves is lie. See, if you're not being truthful to self, you lying to self. And there's a whole lot of that going on right now. You got women who look like baby dolls, big eyelashes, too much makeup on their face, distorting their bodies, you know, like their booty is the power, or their breast is the power. That's not the power. That's what God go question you about. What you didn't like, why you had to distort yourself. That ain't the power. The power is in your integrity. True to self is in your accomplishments of helping others and helping yourself. Truthfully. Being real. Being real is truth. It ain't false. Now, we could make it false, and we do. As the human beings, we know we got that free will. You know, that free will. And that free will allows all 7.8 billion of us, human beings on the planet, to either lie to ourselves or be truthful to ourselves. It's our choice. Because we in control of our own mind and our own heart. Each and every one of us. We determine what goes into our mind and what goes out of our mind. We determine what goes into our heart and what goes out of our heart. See, now, in the scriptures it says, never will God change the people until they change what is in their heart. So everything starts with the heart. Your feelings, your emotions. That's the motivator. That's the first motivator. You know, that determines your integrity. If it's tainted, you know, if you get that feeling, you know, that you want to do something wrong, then you usually can convey that to your intellect and your mind and go along with it. So now the leadership has been compromised. The leadership in your body, your mind and your heart. And it takes you to that place, you know, where your free will, you make a choice, a good or bad choice, but understand this, there's always consequences. You don't see that coming, huh? You thought you was going to rob that bank. You didn't think you were going to end up dead. But you did. See, you didn't think you was going to end up in a wheelchair. Or you didn't think that them 15 minutes of going off, or them 15 seconds of going off, was going to get you life in the penitentiary. See, that's why you got to stay true to self with truth. The truth. Do the research. That takes work, folks. To be true to self, you got to do work. You got to read some books. You can't just watch the news, get on the internet site. You got to, first of all, once again, you got to take charge of your heart and your mind with truth. The truth. And once again, the truth is seen in creation. There's no lying frogs. The tadpole go through a metamorphosis. An egg, a tadpole, and you know, on the sidebar, the tadpole look like sperm. And then we used to put a tadpole in the jar, and you could see the metamorphosis. You could see the legs start dissolving, or the legs start forming, the tail start dissolving, and then after a few weeks or months, days, then you got a frog. And you don't even look like a tadpole no more. It's a frog. And the same thing with a butterfly. Now, that's integrity. And butterfly is a caterpillar. If you don't know the nature of the caterpillar, or how the butterfly is formed, then you would swear up and down, there ain't gonna never be no butterfly. That ain't gonna turn in. No, it ain't gonna be that beautiful. No. You know, it's the same thing in the seed. If you look at a seed, a little bitty seed, and it's apple tree seed, you if you didn't know, you would be saying, no, that seed ain't gonna turn into no big old apple tree. That's a little bitty seed, but it turns into a tree. It gives off apples with many seeds in it. Hundreds of apples with thousands of seeds coming out of the whole tree itself. At least 8 or 9 coming out of one apple to grow more apple trees. That's integrity. That's true to self. Yes. Get in line with that. God's creation, and you'll find out what true to self is. You know? And it's not hard because God sent us men who was true to self. Adam, the first male, and I know y'all, there's different stories about that whole Adam and Eve, and I'm not here to discuss that. But the first man was true to self, who we call Adam. And all that whole line of prophets, Abraham, Jesus, Moses, Lot, Noah, Solomon, David, all them. Muhammad, all them was men from God. And God gave them integrity, and God gave them the nature to be true to themselves. Matter of fact, they didn't come here to tell us how to be obedient to God. They came here to show us our true self. Yeah, Jesus came here to show us our true self. Muhammad came here to represent the human being's true self. Moses represents the human being's true self. Now we know that human beings done distorted it. Yeah, all the major prophets, they teaching have been distorted. But the true self is still here. If you really want to find it, you can find Jesus' true self. You can find Moses' true self and Muhammad's true self. Peace be upon all of them. See, and they came here as examples of how to be true to yourself. Yes. And we also seeing a baby true to themselves, because once again, it's all about the true nature that a baby has formed. Oh, I see the clock. So look here, people. Being true to yourself is not complicated. It's really not. It's only complicated when you want to reject it. And that's whatever you want to justify. When you want to justify stealing something, murdering somebody, going fornicating, adulterating, lying, then you could justify that. We're the only creature that can do that. We're the only body that can justify that. The human being is the only body that can do that. Everything else has to be true to its nature, true to themselves. We're the only somebody that don't have to be true to ourselves. And God gave us that because God wanted a creature that's not in a box. The dog has to be a dog. That butterfly I mentioned has to be a butterfly. The butterfly can't be a horse. The tadpole can't become a giraffe. The hippo cannot be an ant. The alligator cannot be a water buffalo. See, but we could be all of that in our nature. That's why we use them slangs. What's up, dog? How you doing, cat daddy? Yeah, we could act like a cat. We can be the beast. I'm the beast. Now the beast can't be human, only in Hollywood. Where they use that artificial intelligence. See, so true to self is integrity. I mentioned and read what Muhammad Ali said because Muhammad Ali was true to self. You heard what I read. He could have made billions. That's why we love Muhammad Ali. We loved him as a teenager because he was true to self. See, we love that. Yes. See, and I'm speaking on this website, Brothers for a Better Ben Harbor. As I'm right, Brothers for a Better Ben Harbor. Go to the website. You can hear these talks. You can hear shout out to Anthony Andrews, who's listening now. You gave a good talk on true to self. All of that. So hold on. I'm gonna let James speak for a minute because I got to look at. What's up, boy?
So you heard our elder speak, and so
No, you didn't know. What do you need?
Okay, so we'll give him a few minutes. I just wanted to touch on what he said about the integrity for self.
Yeah, I'm broadcasting.
And as he said, that you have to stay true to yourself, just like nature stays true to itself, and nature doesn't change. And so, and in that, you know, we have to take mind to think about character, morals, and scruples. You know, things are turned all the way around, like I don't want to say 360, but 180. It's like what's good, what was good is bad now, and what's bad is considered good now. And so we have to try to look back on the old landmark, on the way, the traditional way things supposed to be, so that we can get back into what's supposed to be normal. Because even that, what's abnormal is now normal, and was normal is now abnormal.
Yes, sir.
So we got some crazy stuff going on, and so we want to be mindful of those things and change those things so that we can be a better people, be the way God intended for us to be. And so now I'm going to let you listen back at the elder to hear his last few points.
And that was right on, and that's right on time. That was the truth. It's in line with what we done read and what we've been saying. You know, and let me start out ending this talk with this. And the we I'm talking about now is American descendants of slavery, you know, black people, but black been compromised. So I like the term American descendants of slavery. You know, we the only people who integrity was taken away from us. Well, let me stop. Let me backtrack. See, I'm thinking as I speak because I want to tell the truth. Not that our integrity was deactivated. I mean, it wasn't taken away from us because can't nobody take it away but the one who created it, and that was the Creator. But it was deactivated, at least for 250 years, because we were slaves. You know, and we had to, but even then we had to do things right. And I think we ended up being the best slave in slavery history. Yes, we were. Because, you know, we came out of slavery and we didn't become no terrorists. We took our whooping and kept on ticking. We fought in every war. We invented major things for America. And I'm talking about American descendants of slavery. See, so our integrity was even intact, even going through the most brutalest and cruelest slavery in human history. See, and I contribute that to our ability. Our people had prayed our covenant with God. See, because our people looked up in the sky because they was in a 100% hostile environment. But hell, even the children didn't respect them. And we was being brutalized and worked from sun up to sundown. And then we had chores at night. Read the history. I'm not telling you something I'm guessing. I read continuously every day. Study, do the research every day, 7 days a week. So, look, our people had to do chores even when they got out of the field. So they usually got about 2 hours worth of sleep. So imagine, you know, that's how you learn how to appreciate your solace time. You know, imagine you looking up at the stars, you know, and you know that the slave master don't run that. You know, and you asking the creator who created that to help you get out of this treatment. And the creator accepted our covenant. And that's why we're here talking today. That's why I'm on this broadcast talking today. That's why we in America with most of us with our good minds today. You know, because of our ancestors. Don't think they was punks and sissies and scared. All you folks were talking about what you would have did back then. No, you wouldn't. You'd been in the mind. They was in the mind of being the protector and provider of integrity. Because they knew that God was going to get us out of this one day, and God did. You know, now some of us fell right back into the same trap of slavery. We, you know, self-induced ourselves back into slavery with the cruel slave master, the imaginary slave master, you know. See, because we didn't change our way of thinking. We didn't change our emotions. And once again, it says, never will God change you until you change what is in your heart. You got to change your emotions, you know. And then they played many, many strategies on us to keep us slaves in our mind and in our heart. They did a psychological warfare on us, you know, over the next, for them 250 years that we was in slavery, and then over the next 100 years. You know, we didn't put drugs in our community. We was not the drug kingpin, even though some of us might have made millions or thousands off drugs, but they made billions. Because, you know, somebody else always created a strategy for us. We didn't create redlining. We didn't destroy our own neighborhood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, and the other 98 more that's in history, probably more than that, but I know it's 100 of our communities that got destroyed by vicious white men and women. You know, just with a lie. Just with a lie. You know, a white woman could say, some black man touched me, and the white men go berserk and destroy the whole town. See, so our integrity here in America as American descendants of slavery has always been a warfare game, a warfare struggle, a jihad. That's what jihad means, struggle. Struggle to keep our integrity. Struggle to keep our truth to self. You know, that's what it's been, you know, for the last 400 years. Because we didn't have roots. They snatched us away from our mothers and our fathers and our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers and our great-great-grandfathers, and put us in an environment that was hostile to the integrity that we had learned. They taught us what integrity was. You do what I say, boy. You do what I say, girl. See, we the only people in America that went through that for 250 years. Now, yeah, there's other black people who came over here who went through that and where they was at, but they didn't go through it the way we went through it. We had the most cruelest and brutalest slave master in human history, you know. And if you don't believe me, do the research. And we'll leave that for another show. Because I can tell you what happened, some of it, and tell you what book to read, you know, and find out. But being true to self is the key to human success. See, that's why a sign of what I just said, we see it all around us. You see that the majority of people who call themselves Christians follow the human being of integrity, which is Jesus Christ. We find that the people of integrity, who is true to Judaism, followers of Moses, Moses was true to self. And they're a large number of the population. Christians are a large number of the populations on the planet. We find the people who followed Muhammad, peace be upon all the prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses. We see that Muhammad has a large following of human beings on the planet Earth. Why? Because they was true to self and they had integrity. Those three great prophets, peace be upon all of them, they was integrity. They had integrity, and they was true to self. See, you know, so, and people listened to them because of that. They followed them because of that. Because being true to self in all these areas, and I told you there's 5 areas of human development. One of them is social, your family life, your social life, you know, the way you have fun, the way you deal with joy and pain, you know, the way you deal with your community. That's social life, you know. And then you got a political life. See, and we know that the political life has been compromised, especially in federal politics. There's not a lot of integrity going on in politics. There's a lot of lying. There's a lot of falsehood. But we also find that in religion. It's a lot of lies in religion. A lot of falsehood. People are not supposed to be looked at as sheep. and then they got a shepherd. No, we human beings. Matter of fact, that's our first power source. That's our real power source, human. True to self is being human. You know? Now, and you can put the other things come underneath human. Yeah, you know, race pride, male pride, female pride, but all that comes under human. Human is the first true to self nature. Human. Because God made us human first. He didn't make us a little black boy first. He didn't make us the female or the male first. He made us human first. He's a human being first. He didn't make us American first, a Polish, a German, a Japanese, a Chinese, a Nigerian, or Dominican, a Cuban first. We human first. That's what connects all of us. Human. We the human race. All of us. You human. That's the first true to self. You know? Now we know all of this that I mentioned have been distorted. The politics, the human, have been distorted by other humans. You know? Religion has been distorted. Financial life has been distorted, where they beat you out of your money at every turn. Educational life has been distorted, where you got some people getting the higher knowledge and some people getting the lower knowledge, because you got to have a low class people to support the high class folks. That's distortion. That ain't true to self. That's lying to self. It's a lot of lying to self that went on. But there's a cleansing going on now. As we end this, there's a cleansing going on now. True to self will return. This ain't the first time in human history that the human being went through an artificial life. The religious books, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, talks about that with other societies, other human beings who formulated societies. You know, our historian, Dr. Clark, said that the darker skinned people, our success and our integrity and our true to self came when we connected with the creation. And in connecting with that creation, we was able to form great civilizations like Mali, Songhai, great colleges like Timbuktu. Timbuktu was a college that happened to be a Muslim college. Matter of fact, most of those great African, so-called African, because it wasn't called African then. It wasn't called Africa. Africa is a European name. Africa was discovered on that, you know, they named it Africa just like they renamed everything else the Caucasian did when they was on that conquest of discovery. You know, when they decided they wasn't going to be true to self. When they decided they was going to be false to self. And that they was going to kill everybody who didn't look like them. Because they had been killing themselves already. So it was easy for the devil to come into them. You know, because the devil had already been in them. And it's not all of them. It's not all of y'all. They ain't never all. Some of them was true to self. And they still true to self. But a lot of them, they was not true to self. When it came down to the darker skinned people on earth, they was false to self. Took people's land, put us as American descendants of slavery in the worst slavery in human history, didn't pay us no reparations, and then kept putting deceitful, destructive, deceptive strategies on us. Well, we couldn't be true to ourselves. You know, drugs in our community, guns in our community, poor education, redlining our community, destroying our communities. See, all that determined our mindset and our heart set. And that was not supposed to happen. But it did, you know, and it's getting ready to end. It's ending. It's ending just like it ended in the past. You know, just like we talk about Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah or other deceitful, destructive communities and tribes that was formed using the lie. The lie will not stand because the lie is not truth. Only thing that stand on this earth is truth. lie is the artificial way of doing things that was created by human beings. Satan. See, and Satan is in all human beings. Yeah, it's in me too. I just attempt to keep mine in check. Keep my Satan in check. You know, and you need to keep your Satan in check. What is Satan? Lies, greed, false ego, manipulation, hate, you know, destruction, useless destruction, you know. See, so true to self comes from the knowledge that we put into our heart and our mind. See, words make people. We made by the words that form us in our environment. And the whole world is our stage, especially now with the internet, you know. That's why parents, you need to be monitoring what your children is listening to, what they seeing, what they smelling, what they touching, what they tasting. All of it.
Yes.
Need to be monitoring that and make sure that they being true to self. You know. See, our role as adults, especially truthful adults, is to pass on the knowledge that we have learned from the past to make sure that society, human beings, stay true to the self and the environment. That's why this book is called The Wisdom of the Elders. That's why Muhammad Ali didn't compromise for the billions. Integrity was more important to him. True to himself was more important to him than the money. But we see difference today as we end this broadcast. We see today. Hey, you got little Nas out there, the little rapper, who got a nice voice, pretending that he's pregnant. And he got access to our little children.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he want to turn them false to self. God didn't make it where no man go have no baby. A female has the baby. Now we need each other to make a baby. I mean, hell, y'all know what it is. The man brings the sperm, the woman brings the egg. And we produce a child.
That's it.
You know, and then we teach that child.
Mm-hmm.
We don't let that child determine whether they're a boy or a girl. God determined that. We don't determine that. The Creator determined that. You know, so now we got these crazy ideas from crazy human beings, manipulative human beings, artificial human beings, deceitful human beings, lying true to self. Because they turn truth into a lie, like James said, you know, distorted-minded human beings who talking about there's no such thing as a male or a female. They could be whatever they want. No. Yeah, well, yeah. But that's the destruction of humanity.
True.
It didn't happen before. It didn't been tried before. It ain't never worked. You know, don't think, human beings, and I want y'all to hear this, that you the power on this planet. God is here and always have been here, always regulating things, allowing things to happen.
Yes.
God is the best planner. Yeah, God allows us to plan, but God is the magnificent planner, the best of planners. Don't think you running nothing. You ain't running nothing. Not even yourself. The words that's coming out of your mouth is being allowed by the Creator. Just like He allowing me to speak right now and move my head and buck my eyes and smile. All that is being allowed by the Creator. Don't get it twisted. Now you can come up with some crazy ideas and they may work for a minute, but they not going to last because they're not truthful. They're not true to self. See, and true to self is what brings on production. True to self is what brought us science, cars, planes, trains, and automobiles. The manipulation of the earth in terms of the variety of foods, the variety of spices, the variety of the way we wear our clothes, how we make our clothes, all of that. See, Michael, how you doing? Whoever this is, Mike Hoy. So, and that's what true to self gives us. True to self gives us productivity like no other. You know, where we done went to outer space and built in outer space, went to the moon, getting ready to go to Mars and all kind of other things, as long as we being true to ourselves. Now, if we start accepting artificial intelligence and make that truth, we ain't going no farther than the planet Earth. And then God, I believe, will eliminate us from here and make a new human being that's going to be true to self. That's how important true to self is. That's how important, because everything, once again, folks, and I say this for the umpteenth time, true to self is shown in creation. There's no criminal insect. There's no criminal fish. Yeah, they may take from another fish, but that's their nature. It ain't like I'm the criminal fish. I'm a robber. All them thoughts is for the human being only. You know, yeah, we got things that manipulate other things. Like you got a cuckoo bird that lays his eggs in other birds' nests, and the other bird take care of that. But don't you see the love? The other bird don't say, this ain't my bird. I ain't feeding that bird. No, they feed the bird. That's true to self. Yeah, that's true to self. See, so if we really want to see true to self, we got to start studying creation. You know, you got to watch what human being, because you got to watch what female, male or female, that you listen to. Life depends on who you listen to. The true to self comes from whoever you listen to or who you don't listen to. And once again, God has sent us a series of men, you know, called prophets, minds, that's show us how to be true to self. You know, and they wasn't distorted. They wasn't feminists. They wasn't men who was against women. You know, they wasn't men who didn't have families. I know in our prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, we see his total life. He was a businessman. He was a family man. Yeah, he had sex. He was married, produced children with his wife. You know, he was a worker, and then he died. See, he did all the basic things that we as human beings do, as males do. He got mad, you know, he used the bathroom. Yeah, all the things that human beings do. You know, the Quran said this, and the Quran is, to us, the last revelation for all humanity. You know, it's not just a book for Muslims that non-Muslims can't read. I suggest that everybody get a Quran and read it. You know, please. You know, it's the word of God for everybody. So once again, as we end this broadcast, we're talking about true to self. We hope we have enlightened you on what true to self. This is our mindset of being true to self. And this is what we live by. Yeah, we live this, baby. We practice what we preach. You know, and we don't compromise it. You know, I grew up with Muhammad Ali as my example, and other men who was true, and women who was true to self as the example. And I deviated, went off, and then I came back. God blessed me to come back to my true to self. See, yeah, you got to be true to self. True to self for the human being is activating our good and righteous nature that was instilled in every human being by the Creator. It's still in us. Now, this may go against some, but I'm talking now. I know a lot of y'all think that the human being is born in sin. That's not a Muslim belief. We're not born in sin. When you can't look at you, you shouldn't. You look at your little baby and say, you little sinner, you just a little sinner. Born in sin means that we was born in a sinful world by other human beings. Other human beings established the sinful world. Not that our nature is sinful. No human being's nature is sinful. There ain't no baby coming here sinning, coming here with a sinful nature, coming here with a good nature. Y'all see how children do? They treat each other fair. They treat each other with integrity. They love the truth. They love to explore. You know? I mean, that's why a Chinese baby, a Chinese mother could raise a black baby. And a black mother could raise a Chinese baby. Because the baby come in here with a truthful nature. They want the truth. But we are the ones who distort them. Misguided human beings. We distort their nature and we distort their true self. So with that being said, I'm going to give it back to our leader, James Davis. And this has been my talk on being true to self, study creation. Thank you for listening. I hope that I have enhanced your mind and your heart. Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.